Let's have some fun, shall we? At somebody else's expense. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyways, I'm 2 beers in. And as you see, I got another one here. And I am Chief Wapham Sparklepuff. The Galaxy Starfighter. Hey, look at that. There's a Starfighter right there. Normal is weird. Hey, look. It's Flying Monkeys. It happens to be the Prime Minister's favorite brewery. I also like Flying Monkeys, as I like many other breweries. Now you see, effervescence. Beer is culture. And I was a bartender once upon a time. So I'm going to put this down, and none of you can put me down. Because as far as I remember, anything I say under the influence of alcohol cannot be used against me. Fair is fair. So, I cannot be subjected to hate speech laws. That's right. So I'm looking at the GBA here. And those of you who are informed, so this is the Canadian Cfhd. And let's go to pay, pensions, and benefits. It is took effect on Canada Day. You know, what a nice gift, eh? And I'm gonna play this this thing with the general. What's it? Brigadier General. What's her face? No disrespect, their general. I'm attacking your position, not you as a person. Let this be clear. I'm attacking intellectual positions and not people. Okay? I'm going after a logical cross-examination to tear down this fucking horse shit.
This summer, the CAF will see a change to how we are supporting our military members when it comes to cost of living and housing in Canada.
So, Brigadier General Virginia Tattersall, how do you do, ma'am? It's nice to meet you, even though we're not in the same space. Now, I'm not going to try and psychoanalyze you too much in this video. We're just going to let you speak for yourself. And I'm going to let other people go after this, and I'll put this in the references so that we can all be transparent with this.
On July 1st, the long-awaited replacement for PLD will come into effect.
So PLD. So what's PLD? Let's go to that as PLD. Canadian Forces PLD. Relocation PLD. Canada's military post-living differential is an allowance designed to stabilize the cost of living of Canadian military members and their families. So this is off of relocatingmilitary.ca. And the background here, again, these are all references I'll put into the video. Okay, so I'll read this off for the video's sake. Background: efforts to obtain a cost of living benefit for military go back to at least mid-1980s when the CAF surveyed selected military locations and determined variations in cost of living per base and the effect it had on military and families' postings. In the late 1990s, the Parliamentary Standing Committee, so let's look at that. This page cannot be displayed. Parliament.ca. The Standing Committee on National Defense and Veterans Affairs, Skandava, recommended and approved the implementation of PLD, making the allowance the first of its kind within the federal government of Canada. How does the PLD work? The PLD works to stabilize the cost of living for CAF members. PLD is paid monthly on top of salaries and CAF members. PLD varies per location within Canada, dependent on the location cost of living. Link to latest PLD per base chart link is below. How is PLD calculated? Each year during March timeframe, each base PLD rate is based on the following: CMHC's data on typical housing types and costs. What is a CMHC? Let's go to the Instagram. So the tagline is, "We help Canadians meet their housing needs." I'm going to follow this. Let's see how you're doing there. Anyways, moving on. So, housing something, yada yada bullshit. Yada yada fucking bullshit. And then national defense data on military population and local impact on economy. So this is the March 2020 D&D Forces footprint. So off of the footprints, so I'm looking at the map here to see the CAF disposition, the regular force bases, reserve forces, and Canadian Rangers. It's amazing what you can find online when you're really looking for it. So, representing more than 3,000 communities, D&D CAF have a significant presence in every province and territory, a 68,000 regular force, 27,000 reserve force, 5,183 rangers, and 187 patrols. So units. So we have JTFN, Joint Task Force North, Whitehorse, Joint Task Force Yellowknife, Squamish, Comox, Edmonton, Wainwright, Cold Lake, Suffield, Moose Jaw, Shiloh, Winnipeg, North Bay, Petawawa, Ottawa, Kingston, Trenton, Borden, Montreal, Valcartier, Bagotville, Gagetown, Greenwood, Halifax, Gander, and Goose Bay. Not to leave anyone out. So looking at the distribution, this has to do something with politics and the equalization payments, because there's a tier here, a distribution at tiers of funding, because this is what it boils down to, and it's always about money. It's always about money. And what can I say? It's and then we'll get into some things of the variations as to why GBA is fucking horseshit. I'm sure you're just waiting for that. Because the basis of the, let's say, go back to this, the basis of the Cfhd is GBA plus. Over 27,000 civilian employees across the country support this CAF, including myself. So this includes IMF or whoever the fuck they are, Cascade Aerospace, Longview, Kelowna Flightcraft Aerospace, which they've rebranded themselves, Discovery Air in previous, and PAL Aerospace, yada 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 yada. Fucking who fucking cares? So if we're going to go by the provinces and territories, we have the Yukon at 3 million, Northwest Territories at 32 million, 10 million in Nunavut, 1,062 million. This is about a billion 62. In British Columbia, $1 billion. In Alberta, 99 million. In Saskatchewan, 381 million. In Manitoba, 6.6 billion. 6,664 million. And in Ontario, 2,619 million within Quebec, 877 million in New Brunswick, 1,222, so 1.2 million in Nova Scotia, 162 million in PEI, 144 million in Newfoundland and Labrador. Again, transparency and traceability. National defense, jobs. Should I apply for this or not? I'm going to follow you guys on LinkedIn here. Oh, wait, I'm already following. Anyways, I'm back to more antagonism. What is the current PLD at my military base? So again, this is off of relocatingmilitary.ca. Oh, wait, we can't find that webpage. Why would that be? Because it's gone forever. Military PLD, this is at the bottom of relocatingmilitary.ca. Let's go back to what the general is saying.
Policy is called the Canadian Forces Housing Differential, or CFHD. The aim of CFHD is to ensure that CAF members who are renting or purchasing primary residences on the economy will only pay 25% of their gross monthly salary towards their housing costs. This is accomplished through a more sophisticated policy instrument that accounts for Canada's wildly diverse housing market, using rental comparator values. This value is determined annually by pulling data from multiple independent sources. CFHD rates will therefore vary based on location and salary. The CFHD focuses solely on housing costs, unlike PLD, which was designed to account for many living expenses and then compared to those cost of living in Ottawa. This model was no longer providing the assistance to members who actually needed it. CFHD considers the diverse intersectional identities of our members when determining housing differential monthly rates.
Notice how she uses intersectional. What is the first association with an intersectional? Feminism.
Which will now be based on a small handful of very specific factors: a CAF member's salary, whether they share their primary residence with one or more CAF members, and their place of duty as opposed to the location of their residence.
She just said duty. She said duty.
It is crucial to understand that CFHD prioritizes those who require assistance the most in order that all CAF members are able to afford housing regardless of where they are posted. Correspondingly, not all CAF members will be entitled to CFHD. We recognize that the replacement of PLD with CFHD may take some time to adjust to, both mentally.
In other words, you're going to get fucked. That's what it means. You're going to have to adjust to it, and there's nothing we can do about it because we're trying to support a war in the Ukraine that doesn't have an end. And we don't see an end in in sight. And we're trying to support other deployments right now in Eastern Europe to threaten Russia and to secure a better strategic position with Israel.
And financially. Given the implications on your personal circumstances, it is important for you to also note that the CAF will also see an economic increase or pay raise, which you will see on your mid-July pay. This economic increase is retroactive to April 1st, 2021, and will also include an increase up to March 2025. Critically, this imminent economic increase will assist you in covering the expenses of your cost of living in Canada, apart from housing in some locations. I encourage you to learn more about both upcoming changes by reading the Cfhd and Economic Increase Can for Gens, the relevant compensation and benefit instructions, and additional internal resources, including Maple Leaf articles. You can also speak with your orderly room support staff.
Oh, so she's talking about Maple Leaf articles. Let's look this up. So the Maple Leaf is the CAF newspaper or magazine here. Excuse me. Featured categories: health and wellness, history, operations and exercise, personnel, regional stories, defense team news. So this is part of the marketing and communication, which falls under signals and psychological warfare. And when it comes to the PsyOps warfare school in Kingston, sit on it and rotate, because I'm better at this than you are. You didn't want to listen to me. Your idea of branding is completely off base, and it's not in line with what young people want from militaries. So frankly, suck at my Johnson Space Center.
The policies that we continue to develop, maintain, and revise exist to ensure that you as CAF members are well positioned to serve Canada, knowing that your needs on the home front are appropriately supported. Both the new Cfhd and economic increase, rooted in our wider reconstitution efforts, will assist us in intelligently prioritizing and empowering you, the core of our great institution.
Okay, some small nitpicks here. The Canadian Forces is not an institution. It's a service, like law enforcement. There's a big difference between an institutional organization and a service-based organization. So compensation and benefits. Let's go to the pay of, so chapter 204, which is the pay of officers and NCMs. Pay increments 204.015. This is off the canada.ca/en, Department of National Defense. Pay increments. So this is legislation right in front of you. This would be dictated by the UCMJ, which would be the United States military code as a facility or something of comparison. So pay increments is set out in the tables into the CBIs. So I'm going to look at this. So CBI is compensation and benefit instructions 204.015. A, to determine the rate of pay or on enrollment, transfer, or charge in class of reserve services based on pay credits that, in accordance with others or instructions issued by the Chief of Defense Staff, reflect the amount of qualifying service, academic or special qualifications possessed by an applicant that are determined to be of military value, and to provide a means of progression through the pay range of each rank. 204.015 Qualifying service, subject to paragraph 4 and other conditions as may be prescribed in orders or instructions issued by the Chief of Defense Staff. Qualifying service includes, subject to paragraph 3 of this instruction, all previous service members of an officer or an NCM in the member's present rank, equivalent rank, or any higher rank, including paid acting rank in the regular force or all other permanent armed forces of Her Majesty, any component of the Canadian Forces and all other armed forces of Her Majesty when on active service, the Reserve Force and Class B or Class C Reserve Service. B, 1/4 of all previous service in the Reserve Force other than Class B or C Reserve Service, and the officers or NCM's present rank, equivalent rank, or any higher rank, including paid acting rank in the Primary Reserve and the CIC or the Canadian Rangers, semicolon, and for an officer or non-commissioned member on enrollment in the Canadian Forces, a period as established in orders or instructions issued by the CODS for academic or other special qualifications considered by the Chief of Defense Staff to be of military value. So what does that mean? You'll get paid if you do something for the forces. And if you're doing something for the forces, then you'll be paid. Whether or not you'll be paid something of, deterministic value is entirely up to them. It's arbitrary. So if they like you and they don't like you, if you follow orders or not, you're a good dog or you're a bad dog, you get paid differently depending on the pay scale. So this gives them, if you're asking me, this gives them room for discriminatory practice. So if and when that you have contrary opinions or political stance, or you resist unlawful orders, that they can, demote you and imprison you and take away some of your benefits. Okay, so this is, again, these are more references I'll put into the description here. CFD. The Cfhd policy is a sophisticated approach with the goal of assisting CAF members in adjusting to housing costs in different locations within Canada, thus providing military members, when applicable, an equitable differential for housing costs when posted to a place of duty. I said duty. Okay, so how do I find my pay level? For the purpose of Cfhd, the pay level of the regular force member and reserve force member serving on a period of Class C reserve service is determined in accordance with the following table. So pay level 1 is monthly rate of pay, 0 to $3,700. Let's go to, say, 10, which is $7,900 to $8,099. And 20 is above $98.99 a month. So they're in after, there is no set value. It is greater than 90 at 20 is greater than $98.99. So the evaluation of the officer is then compensated financially, because there's no set value there. In 19, it says you have $9,700 to $98.99, so $9,900 a month of monthly rate of pay. So there's room here for subjectivity. And if you go to the Cfhd, PDF and say, I'm going to use the example of London here because I'm from London. London, St. Thomas, pay scale at rank 4, so compensation therein is $200 a month, which is complete and utter horseshit. So I compare that to, say, rank 4 of monthly rate of pay, which is $6,500, $6,900. Let's look at the current cost of living. So let's go cost of living. Cost of living in London, Ontario, monthly. A family of 4 estimated monthly costs are $4,521. Oh, that's in London, in the UK. A single person. Okay, so this is from Numbeo.com, cost of living /IN/London. Again, this is stuff that I put into Google here. So you want to scroll down to the bottom. The average salary in London right now after tax is $4,871.82 a month. So what does that say at rank 4? You're getting a little bit better, but you're going to be taxed nonetheless, from what I know. Forgive a bit of ignorance here. I don't understand just yet. I know that there's some sort of benefit to being in the forces, which is untaxable income because you're already something like that. There's got to be some sort of deal here. All right, so but that doesn't compensate for the cost of living. We're looking at rent per month in London at this moment. Average, between $1,869, 1 bedroom. Let's actually go in the calculator. We'll go the min and the max. So calculator. So based on this information, 1865.89 on the low end plus 2288.18 for apartment 3-bedroom outside of the city center. Actually, that's low. In the city center is 2,878.26. Put them together equals, and then divided by 2. It's 4,744.15. So to find the average between those two, divided by 2 equals $2,372 per month. So what we're looking at, again, at rank 4, monthly rate of pay $6,500 to $6,800, but on the low end. So this is class C. Now, considering that you get into car payments and stuff like that, or childcare costs, childcare, preschool or kindergarten, full day, private monthly for one child, $1,000 Canadian a month. Okay, so this is using a Toyota Corolla sedan at $27,258 Canadian is $3 for a bus ticket. Average for domestic beer is $3. So then it goes through again. I'll include this Noomborough.com. So a family of four, estimated monthly cost is estimation $4,760. So 8.6% less expensive than Toronto, 28.6% lower than Toronto. Now, I go about this all because to re-emphasize the point that my father is a financial planner, insurance broker, and elderly planning. The EPC, elderly planning consultant. So the end of life beneficiary bullshit and all that. Wills and investments, yada yada yada. I've learned so much over my life just by facilitating me, and also because of my experience as an independent contractor. Okay, I have lived on the edge of society for years and years. Okay, we're talking about close to 10 or 12 years. I've been living like a student since I left university in 2007. I've been living in poverty or a proximity of it because I choose, if we're going to go by personal example, to put my money into physical objects because money doesn't have any value when they just keep printing it. What's the point? What's the point of saving money if they just keep printing it? Right? And I'm really pissed at this GBA bullshit. This fucking horseshit. Right? So we're going to play this thing from Dr. Kara Tenenbaum. And it's 5 minutes. 5 minutes and 49 seconds. I'm only going to play the intro here. And again, I'm going to put this into the description.
What's more important is to ask the why. What is the mechanism? How can we explain that there's differences? And once we get the answer to why there's differences, then we'll be able to come up with personalized, tailored, more thoughtful recommendations for policy so that we know that all our efforts haven't been in vain and that maybe one size fits all does not apply to this subject area, and by taking that extra time to understand the why and thoughtfully come up with our solution, then our policies will be of greater benefit to everybody. In the 21st century, we're embracing complexity. We realize that two individuals are not the same. We're talking about personalized medicine now, or precision health, where based on your genetic makeup, based on your race, based on your sex, based on your age, based on your gender, we should be able to tailor therapy to give you the best treatment.
Okay, I gotta laugh at this. The one scene here, and they're using stock footage. You know, this is outright propaganda right here. Like, completely utterly fucking obvious propaganda. Fuck. There is an American flag in the background. Okay? Give me a second. I gotta use the washroom. We'll come back in a second here.